Yeah, this is a Bosch DAC90 I bought. Case is fairly good. A few scratches on it. Nothing that cannot be cleaned. See, the speaker grill's been removed. The only thing that's wrong is one of the posts is broken off. Speaker post is broken. That's quite a common problem with these. They're very heavy. So people put them down and the speaker breaks the post off. Now, this thing was still here, the bracket was still in there. So what I'll do is check the other ones. Whether I can repair that, I don't know. I'll have to see if I can build that up with some plastic and drill it and see if I can put another screw in there. I expect that to be plastic padding and perhaps put a self tap in or something. Very dusty, nothing like the other radio I've got. Very dusty, a couple of little black paints, zits put on the dial because obviously someone lifted, a lot of people do, they lift up the radio and smash the bloody dial, the plate into the dial. Because they don't know how to take them apart properly. See the case, it's got these rubber grommets. You slide the chassis out. If you lift it, you'll scratch your dial. So a little bit of warning. If you want to preserve your dial and you don't want to have to black it out through scratching it, like there and there, do not lift up the chassis. Slide it out from those rubber grommets down here. There's rubber grommets, they've gone a bit hard, but slide the chassis out towards you, keeping it flat on the deck. Don't lift it up. If you lift it up, you scratch the glass. And that's a little bit of... You can get Baker polish to clean this. There's a couple of little scratches. That's perfectly acceptable. This thing is made in 1954. It's pretty good nick. You're going to get a few scratches on it. You can buy this Bakelite polish called Baker Bright, and that'll take those out and bring it right up. So don't go mad. These are very popular little radios. Everybody that collects radios has a Bosch 90. I've had 4 of these. This one's being done up for me because I've done a lot up for people, and it's my own personal one. So it's a bit dusty and needs quite a bit of work. You can see there's quite a lot of puffs. Have a look at this. Very dusty, and the wax capacitor is blown out and spurted everywhere. And I thought, well, it probably won't run. I turned it on and it was running, picking up radio 4. And there was a little bit of hum in it, but it wasn't due to smoothing. I think it's due to those wax capacitors. This will come out, be washed. The dial is completely black underneath with dust in there, so I need to respray this. This will have to come off and be resprayed. The chassis, it's okay, it's in good condition. All it is dust. It's an aluminium chassis. You do that, look, it's coming clean. So all I need, and that cap is full of dust and crustaceans that I need cleaning out. The dial cord's okay. Nothing wrong with the dial cord, I've checked that. It's not frayed. It's not worn. It's perfectly fine. Good job. I can restring dials, but I absolutely hate it. And that resistor down here, it's a 10k again. That is really, really crusty. That's coming out. That board, I'm going to renew all the resistors on that board are going to be renewed. It's a fibre wire there. it's gone in one place a little bit, but it's perfectly okay. In fact, these wires tend to burn, and actually they've gone a little bit hard, but there's no need to worry. The skin is still on it. You find those wires go slightly brittle. These have gone, these are okay. The speaker wires are nice and supple. This one is a bit hard, but it's set on 240 volts, 250. That's what the voltage is. You don't need to touch this. Clean it gently. Change those resistors. Take the valves out. Undo that. Change the resistors. That one really looks, it's working, it's wire wound, it doesn't look particularly good. So these three will be changed as a matter of course. What we're going to do now is turn it upside down so you can see the underneath of the Bush DAC90. That's the back. It's a 2-pin Bolgin plug. Those things cost nearly £30 each now. You can hardwire it and take those pins out, or you can buy a plug, or you can reverse those by undoing the nut so you keep them but they're not wired, and then make that hole bigger and fix the lead. That is the safest way to do it. Modern safety standards. It's worth modifying this, but don't destroy it, because some people may want to put it back. I'll show you what I mean. On the back of these, there's some nuts. If you desolder that and undo the nuts, turn them round, it may not work because they'll still be sticking out. But I mean, what you can do if you like is just remove these posts, but keep them in storage, and then redo it. The first thing you'll need to do is take those wax things out. What the nice thing about this radio is it's not been mucked around with. It's had one repair job, a new volume control. That's not the original volume control. And why is that? Because it's got a joiner on it. It would not have had a joiner originally. But this was done by a professional. It wasn't done by some kid. You can see it's been done properly. There's nothing wrong with that switch. It's a sealed one. There's no way there's any dust in it. It's not crackling. The switch is working. My suggestion is to leave it alone. Change the wax capacitors. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Plus there's one down here. You can just see. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 of them altogether that you have to change. Quite a number of 0.05s. Some 0.001s, a 0.003 I think, and a 0.1. Those will need to be changed. These are mainly decoupling. These are mainly decoupling the screen grids on your valves. They're mainly screen grid decoupling. And that's generally what they're used for. Now, I bought the handbag capacitors. So what you do is you snip these, and if you notice, you've got inner tabs. Most of those will solder to the inner tabs, apart from these. These just want cutting off, and the new ones put in. But these big ones are soldered to the outer tab, so I can use the inner tabs to solder them to that haven't been used. That one that's going down there, that'd be a bit more difficult to remove, but I'm sure I'll be able to do that okay. If in doubt, undo the 2 nuts here, lift the board slightly. That capacitor, there's the wax is a bit dug in. That may get replaced. It's that one up there. It's probably okay, but it's looking at these caps here are looking a bit crusty, so they'll get changed. These lem ones, I think I'll change those. They may be okay. They may be okay. But I'll certainly change these. These certainly, they need to go. They need to go. The main smoother hasn't leaked, neither has it bubbled, neither has it cracked, and the rubber's supple, and it seems to be working okay. So what we'll do is we'll leave that for the time being and make my decision up whether to put a board in there and put 2 new ones in. I want to leave the old one, so it may be I find some way of attaching some new ones. Sometimes you can restuff these, take them out, cut the can off, solder new ones in. You had to put a couple of holes in the rubber to do it, and then reassembling it with the new caps inside the can. I've done that before. I did it with one I had before. It was a bit of a pain, but I did it, and I'm a great believer in oh, there's a little bit of a fray in that, is there? Is there a little bit of a fray in there? Yeah, there's a little bit of a fray in that cord. Yeah, so it might need restringing then. Is it just a bit of dust? Yeah, it might be okay. It looks as though there's a bit of fraying in the dart cord. Sometimes you find that just a bit of dirt in there. Yeah, I don't like that dart cord. That dart cord is a bit worse for wear. But it's mainly dust, I think. So I'll have to watch that. But I do have a diagram for restringing it. But I tend to only restring them. You can put up with a little bit of fraying as long as it don't look too bad. It's probably more dirt than anything. As I say, that's the capacitor, it's gone. And there's some rust on the transformer core. This has probably been in someone's garage or something. You can always tell. You get a bit of rust on the transformer there, core. There's no rust on the chassis, it's aluminium. Those screws are rusty. This has been kept in a place that's got a bit of damp in it, but it's not too bad. It's suffered a little bit of damp, but it's not too bad at all. And there was all these screws were loose. One of them had fallen off inside. Still got it, so it will need to be refixed. Those nuts will have a little bit of Loctite on, so they won't come undone again. That's the frame air wheel. Works really well actually, those frame air wheels. So what I had to do is unbend those tabs. There's 2 bendy tabs here. That will slide out. This reflector, this is called the reflector, will come off. It will be resprayed because that's dull. Some tape on here. I don't know what that tape is. You see there's an awful lot of dust in there. It's really crusty, this radio. It'll be a good one, but it's going to require quite a lot of work. Now if I show you these speaker wires, normally these wires are crumbly and they're completely gone. These are perfectly supple. These wires are good, and the bulb wires are the same. So it isn't doing too bad, and the wires are clean when you strip them. So I think, even the wires of the frame area are supple, that this radio is going to be recapped. That capacitor was snipped here because I didn't want to burst that transformer. Now a lot of people are saying that the problem they're having with the DAC90 is that their speaker transformer's gone. Now what happens, that capacitor goes and it burns out your speaker transformer. Also, if your UL41 goes bad, and the way that goes bad, a little bit of a story about the UL41. They're not a particularly good valve, and they draw quite a bit of current. But not only that, if the screen grid capacitor goes, sorry, the grid locking capacitor goes, those all run hot and draw current. Then what happens then is it burns out your output transformer. This has not happened in this case. Now, the other thing I want to show you, something. These valves are what they call side pips. Now, if you notice these valve holders, they got springs on those. Now, I want to show you something, how to protect your valves from breakage. Those pips can break. What you do is you do that to move that wing down out of the way. As you notice, that wing is now down against the chassis. Do not pull these things up with that wing engaged, because I've learnt a lesson. I had a set and I broke every valve in it. I pulled all these out and they all went white and I couldn't understand why. And what had happened is the pip had gone on the side. On that valve you'll see there's a pip on the side. That clip will snap off the pip. You also notice with the UL41, as the base goes very dark and burns, give it a good clean, give it a good spray. Now this UL41 is in good nick. My suggestion is that it's not the original UL41. There is no burn on it at all, not even any discoloration on the base. That one is new, so I don't have to worry. We'll do the same with the UI41. What you do is you put your jeweler's screwdriver in, lever it, and that levers that ring out of the way. Pull straight, be very careful. If you notice, it's a bit shadows on it, perfectly fine. Now, I tested this radio, and all the valves are glowing up quite brightly, and they're all fine. What I'll do is I'll get a couple of spare ones, but the only one that looks a bit doubtful is the tuning valve, but it's a bit black. But what I did, put that the same, I tried it on radio 4 and it was working. What I want to share with you is how do you know your tuning valve is suspect? In this case it's the UCH42. How do you know? What you do is you put it onto long wave, because long wave is the first to go wrong when your tuning valve goes. This is a triohexode. When this goes, your long wave quits. Now you'll find that if you've got a long and medium and short wave radio, the short wave's fine, the medium wave's not that good, and you find the long wave is completely gone. If your long wave is completely gone and the other thing's working, you can guarantee this has gone low. So I tested this radio and I was picking up radio 4. What you do is you just push that clip up and it re-engages. See? If you do what I've done with the clip, it's funny, it's not going back in now. Why is it not going back in? I've done something wrong here. Oh, yeah, that's got to go up. What's happened is disengaged here. It's disengaged. Never mind. It's gone into the hole on the side. That's not a problem. That can easily be taken off that ring and put back on. What's happened is I've gone and moved it and it's gone funny. So it needs to be taken off that ring and refitted. So that should be easy enough to do. What's happened, it's gone on to something it shouldn't have done. It's amazing where you take something off and it's shifted. So So what's going to have to happen now is that, it's gone. It's gone. So what I've got to do now, sometimes you can just put your screwdriver in and just lift it slightly. The idea is you don't want to break the pip off. Break that off. Yeah, that'd be alright. Just move it up slightly and that will stop it breaking off. As I say, don't break your pips on the sides. The original ones of these had metal bases, and to me they were a lot better, but they were more expensive to produce, so they started producing the all glass. These are known as the Philips miniature lot tool, UCH 42, UF 41, UBC 41, UL 41 and UY 41, even though the numbers are rubbed off on this one of the valves. I know what the valves are, and the reason why is I've been doing radio since I was, how old was I, about 17, 18? So yeah, I usually can know what valve is what by looking at it, even if it's got no number on it. I mean, if I saw that one there with no number, I'd know it was either an UY41 or an EY41, or sorry, an EZ41. What am I on about? EZ41. So I would know it'd be either one or the other, and I know if I put an E-series valve in there, it wouldn't light up because the heater current would be too high. It wouldn't work. So you can usually tell what a valve is by looking at it, and you just look at the construction of it. I know there's a halfway rectifier with a pip on it, so it's only going to be a 6 volt heater or a 15 volt heater. Can't remember if that's a 15 volt or not. Some of them are 12. I think those are 12. Those I think are higher. I think they're about, can't remember how many volts that is. I think that's nearly 30 volts on the heater, is that output valve. Can't remember now. But you notice there's a little bit of label coming off. That might be stuck back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. It's so that you can line up the dial. So I might be able to print it on the scanner and stick one on there. And but this is, I believe, a 1954 model. I've had a good look at it. It looks like a 1954 model. So say the dial cord looks alright. It's a bit dirty. I don't think it's particularly frayed around that knob. I think it's mainly dirt. There's a lot of dirt in this. But I'm a great believer, if it works, is to leave it. I'll get some spare dial cord so I can and check in the rubber grommets. The rubber grommets haven't gone. Don't think they have. In fact, it hasn't got rubber grommets on it, has it? Yeah, I think it has. Yeah, the rubber grommets are supple. I'll tell you what, they nearly always go hard. But the rubber grommets have not gone. And you can tell that because the capacitor is level. If it's sort of leaning, you can guarantee those things have gone. But this radio, this is going to be a good one, another good one. Just needs a bloody good clean. New caps, 3 new resistors. The valves are fine because they're lighting up nicely and they're working. I'm picking up radio power, some radio air on it with no capacitor work at all. Distorted, very distorted. This is due to the decoupling capacitor being gone on the UL41. If that was changed, it'd be as clear as a bell. And so I think this is going to be another good one here. But this is my next project. I'm going to continue now doing the echo first. Bye bye. 73s, as we say in the amateur radio world.